Hi all, I'm Chris and welcome to this setup video for the board game Bastion, published by Hobby World and Zoom Games. Bastion is a wonderful player cooperative game which takes approximately an hour to play. Aside from the base game, it can be played in a 4-part scenario mode which can change up the setup from game to game, but in this tutorial we're just going to stick to the base game itself. So without further ado, let's get to the table. Okay. So we're going to start assembling the Bastion by placing the Citadel tile in the centre of the play area. Now decide which side of the district tile to use, either the statue or non-statue side. The statue side has a more even distribution of colours, and as such could be considered the easier of the two. In this example, we'll stick with the statue side. Randomly interlock these district tiles around the Citadel, making sure all of them are the same side up. Place the mana discs near the Bastion so as they are accessible to all players. These are the key resource of the game and used to fight the attacking creatures. Each player will then choose a character and take the matching double-sided reference sheet. One side will have a reminder of the game's turn structure and a breakdown of all the spells that players may acquire during the game, while the reverse will detail enemy, artifact and structure abilities. So all in all, a great play aid that will clarify any iconography that you may come across during the game. At this point, players will also take one mana disc of each colour from the supply and their hero figurine, which they will place at the starting location of the Citadel. Place the enemy camp tile in the leftmost corner section of any district, just taking into account that the enemy cards will be played in a counterclockwise direction from this point. Insert the gate into the tile. Now we need to assemble the enemy deck, and in doing so decide on the difficulty level of the game. This table describes the breakdown of the deck dependent on what we choose. So, in this example we'll set up for a normal game. First thing we'll want to do is divide the enemy cards into decks of their respective difficulty. Now this is highlighted by the number of dots in the top right hand corner of each card. So 1 dot is your basic cards, and we're going to use those in every single game. Now your advanced cards, or the 2 dot cards, have 8 district types, all with their own special power and each type having 6 cards, 1 of each mana colour. The number in the top left hand corner of the cards denotes the strength of that type of card. So, taking this into account, coupled with the deck building guide that tells us that we need 3 types of advanced enemies, we can structure the deck to what difficulty level we need. For example, if we want an easier game, we will add low numbers. Want something a bit more difficult, we go high, or we can just get a nice mix of the two. This is just another example of the variability of this game. They can mix up so many combinations, from the order of the initial board tiles to the way we put together this enemy deck. Now, the only oddity with these advanced cards are those marked with an X. These cards have a variable strength during the game dependent on their neighbouring enemies, and you'll see that later on in a playthrough. So, once you have decided on what 3 types of advanced enemies you want to square off against, shuffle their individual decks and, as we are setting up for a normal game, deal 3 face down from each, returning all the unused cards back to the box. Finally, we add our legendary enemies, or the 3 dot variety, and again, as this is a normal difficulty, we shuffle their deck and add 2 to our other monsters. Okay, so now we have our deck built. We're going to give it a good shuffle and place it on the enemy camp. Next, we draw from this deck a number of enemies equal to the number of players plus 1. So if this is a 4-player game, we're going to place 5 enemies starting to the right of the monster camp and continuing counterclockwise. Each district will have the space for 4 enemy cards as marked by their district coloured flags upon the outside wall. Alright, so we're nearly there. Now we just need to shuffle the ritual deck, which has this awesome elemental yin-yang pattern on the back. Normally, each player would be dealt 3, choosing 2, while placing the third back to the bottom of the deck. But if this is yours or members of your party's first game, maybe just deal one randomly to each player, as they won't really have an initial understanding of what powers they have available to them. Okay, so finally, decide upon a first player, and then you're off to defend the Bastion. Good luck! I hope you have enjoyed this setup video, and if so, please subscribe. Thanks again, and until next time.